Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe if you are enjoying what you are hearing. Now, on to today's story. The Devastation. Rant. TL Doctor, wife of 3 years, relationship of 7 years, had an EA, after I found out had a lot of blame shifting. Had multiple D-days. Lead to constant fighting. Now separated. My only relationship which previously I thought was blissful. How do you all get over the devastation of it all? Waking up every morning and remembering she's not next to you. Then thinking about why. Thinking about how she could do this. Thinking about 7 years of broken promises. Constantly dealing with heartbreak. Picturing her with the other guy. Picturing him making her happy. Picturing her justifying to herself and everyone around her that the best decision she made was to leave me. I feel like I have been punched in the gut every morning I wake up. Every time I think of memories of us together before the affair, I get so sad. We were so happy once, how the hell did we get here? Why can't I let go of you? Rant. You were my wife, my best friend, my only relationship. You promised so much. You told me I was the best you had ever been with. I was the only person you ever lived with, introduced to your parents, and married. During our years of long distance, how we would long to see each other. For years we had a countdown to when we could be so lucky to live with each other. After years of dedication, sacrifice and devotion to each other, we finally made it, and you threw it all away. Why did you cheat? How could you? How could you love another? How could you forget about me? After multiple D-days, and now separation from you, why can't I let you go? I hate that I moved to this city to be with you, and I feel so much further from you now, than I ever did during our years of long distance. Why do I still love you? I know why I hate you. What is wrong with me? My mistakes. Post-separation. TL Doctor, my wife of 3 years, relationship of 7 years, had an EA, multiple D-days and lots of blame shifting, now separated. It has been approx over 8 months since D-Day 1. I have asked my WS many times why this happened, and each time I get a different reason. Here are some of the reasons why the affair took place according to her. I never respected her enough, I never appreciated her enough, I have anger issues, I am emotionally abusive, I have betrayed her in the past in many ways, not cheating related. I was unsure about her early on in the relationship, and she has a right to be unsure of me now. I never loved her enough, I never made her a priority. I over the last 7 years have led to her having a low self-esteem. I am not romantic enough, I like to hang out with my friends too much, I focus on having fun too much, I never wanted to have kids. I don't know where this came from. I have always wanted kids. For 7 years she led the relationship, did most of the work. While I did nothing, she always moved the relationship forward. She loved me more than I loved her for 7 years, and then she had enough. There was never any romance and it was just a friendship. All of these things were eye-opening to me. These things were never pointed out to me before, only came out after D-Day. I always thought we had a happy relationship with some problems. I enjoyed being best friends with my romantic partner, and I know she did too, for years prior to her affair. This all seems hyper-exaggerated to me. I know I am not perfect and had many flaws, but a lot of these seem unfair. If these were real issues for years, why did she not tell me or make a big deal about it? Well, there it is. Rant. TL Doctor, wife of 3 years and relationship of 7 years. Wife had an E, multiple D-days, now separated. Well, I met with my WS recently after a few weeks of North Carolina to see where her head's at and where we go from here. When I bring up divorce, she is unsure, Has not many words other than if we do choose to go down that road it can be amicable. She doesn't say I 100% want a divorce. Just I'm not sure anymore. So then I ask about reconciliation. This proceeds to her asking if I can improve and change to be a better husband. I say yes, I am working on myself for me and trying to be the best version of me. Then she gets upset and states, why did it take this much for me to change? All I can reply is I obviously didn't know you were that unhappy, and if I did I would have acted differently. I was happy and I thought you were too. When I ask her about the affair or if it will ever happen again, she said obviously it won't happen again and that I keep bringing it up too much. That I haven't let it go yet. No, I haven't. I am deeply hurt by it and will be for a while. Then she says, what's the point of reconciliation? All this damage has been done and she thinks I'll be angry at her for the rest of our lives, and that's why she's having difficulty committing to me. But she does love me and feels really bad for what happened. I ask her again, why did you have the affair? Her answer is that she was unhappy in the relationship. Then she later tells me part of her thought it was the only way out of a previously happy marriage, as she wasn't sure about her future with me anymore. WTF. Why did we do months or MC and trying to make things work after D-Day if this is why she had an EA? Honestly, I think I'm done. Sorry for the long rant, Reddit. Thankful. Meta. In the spirit of Thanksgiving and self-improvement, I figured I'd share what I am thankful for after being cheated on and abandoned by my spouse. To be clear, I am not actually thankful for being cheated on and probably never will. I am thankful for my intuition. It's stronger and more powerful than I thought. Thinking of all the times I was suspicious of my spouse and asking her what's going on, and getting no answers. My intuition kept telling me something is really wrong here, and when I listened I found out about the betrayal multiple times. This process has told me to have more confidence in my gut. Support from friends and family. Initially I was ashamed to turn to family and friends. I thought they would point out all the stuff I did wrong and that I deserved what I got. But that could not be farther from the truth. In trying times like this, having a support system can make a world of difference. A difference of life and death. I will be forever grateful to all the people that helped me through this time. Corrected my thinking when I would blame myself for my spouse's infidelity. Simply being there for me and showing me love. Growth. I feel like I have grown more personally and emotionally in the last 8 months than the previous 5 years. I've learned so much about myself, have become comfortable with difficult emotions, situations and people. Focused on controlling what I can and not the thoughts and emotions of others. Accepting failure as a tool to improve myself and not as something negative. Focusing on the process or the journey more than the goal or end destination. Stepping out of my comfort zone, taking more risks. This subreddit, of course. Finding similar stories to mine helped me realize I'm not alone. This happens and it's fucking shitty, but people do get through it and go on to have better lives. Also, random internet strangers seem to care about my well-being and have my back where my spouse herself didn't. Have a happy Thanksgiving. How do they do it? Advice. Background: wife of 3 years, relationship of 7+ years, wife had an E-year followed by multiple D-days, we are now separated for over 6 months, working on filing for divorce. How do these cheaters do what they do? I just don't understand. It has been 9 months since D-Day 1 and I have been separated for more than 6 months. My wife had an intense emotional connection with some other dude at her work. My friends have been telling me to start dating, but I still feel it's wrong. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I have tried some dating apps and met a few people and it's fun and all, but it feels so empty. I also still feel guilty because technically I am still married on paper. I have no intention to go back to my wife after she hurt me, and we have just started talking about how to proceed with divorce. How the duck did my wife have an affair when we actually had a loving relationship and were living together, would do day-to-day things together, etc. It still boggles the mind. It's something I'll never understand. Have any of you ever felt like this? A weird realization. Meta. Backstory: my only relationship, of 7+ years, married for 3+ years, wife had an EA, lots of fighting, multiple D-days, blame shifting, now separated heading towards divorce. The last 8 months, since D-Day 1, have been very enlightening for me. I have never felt this much pain or hurt in my life. I did everything to not be in pain, beg her to stay and work on the marriage, lash out at her when she kept on cheating, talked to family friends about my feelings, therapy, meditation, exercise, reading, becoming self-aware. And yes, all these things to a degree helped me along the way, but I had trouble achieving inner peace and contentment the way I had it prior to her affair. While in deep meditation recently, which has now been a daily practice for me over the last few months, I was thinking about the last time I talked to her, and we lashed out at each other again, and although whatever I did say to her was not wrong, it made her feel awful, and then she did the same to me. After that encounter, I realized this is not who I am at my core. At my best self, I'm not this vindictive, revenge-seeking person. I don't want to put down someone who hurt me to make myself feel better. Somehow after D-Day 1, I hated what I had become, especially when I talked to her. I became angry, controlling, even manipulative, desperate and needy. All the things I hated in others. At my core, I know I am a kind, gentle yet passionate person, who is funny. I wish the best upon everyone most of the time. How did I become someone I would have hated in my past life? It's easy for me to blame her for everything, and sure, part of that may be true. But I realized I don't like the person I become when I engage with her and react to her when she blames me. I loathe that person. So I started finding myself again, my true self, my true kind, calm soul. That true self that still loves my WS, not in a romantic way, but in a way that any human loves one another. I started thinking, I hope she figures out she's broken and fixes herself. I started praying for her during my meditation. I started thinking, what if there is a future where both me and her can be super happy, but not in each other's lives? And what is wrong with that? So part of my healing came with the realization that I do still love her and probably always will, and me wishing ill upon her, will harm me and probably her. Part of letting go and loving myself is being okay with the idea of wishing the best for her as well. I don't want to be consumed by vengeance anymore. It's weird, but since I started hoping the best for her, I have started feeling better. I know she is broken, and I do hope someday she fixes herself and lives a better life. That brings me peace. What do you guys think? My birthday? Rant? As my birthday comes up, it brings a sad anniversary. Shortly after D-Day 1, when I was still living together with my ex, thinking we were rebuilding our relationship. One day after returning from work, when she said she would be at home, but she wasn't, I panicked. I started having traumatic thoughts of her and AP being together. I called her multiple times, messaged her, and she didn't respond. It felt like an eternity, but in reality it was only 15 minutes. In those 15 minutes I began to look through her computer and discovered she had been talking to AP on my birthday 2 months prior to that day. Their convo went along the lines, I know it's his birthday but I want to see you, but I feel bad because it's his birthday. For some reason this hurt me more than anything else I had found at the time. She couldn't even give it a rest for one day. I remembered that birthday, me and her, and we went to one of our favorite restaurants with some family. We had ordered our favorite dishes and our favorite bottles of wine. For some reason, knowing that she was texting her AP on my birthday about how much she missed him really shattered me. It broke my heart. Bend but not break. Progress. I was bent when D-Day first occurred. I was bent further with each act of lying, betrayal, gaslighting, and emotional abuse. I thought I was broken. But I was wrong. I am so much more resilient than I could have ever imagined. Those of you going through this now, know that your human mind, your soul can withstand so much more than you could have ever imagined. This is nothing more than a storm, a hurricane, and you are like a tree that is standing its ground and bending. Weather the storm, heal, and then grow to unimaginable heights. Happy New Year's, everyone. Push-pull. Rant. When I finally distance myself from my wayward wife, and start putting up clear boundaries, working on divorce, she tells me she's truly sorry and wants to be forgiven. She further asks, what is going on with us, as if the last few months and divorce planning never happened. She states that because my family and friends know about her infidelity, she will never feel accepted or respected by anyone who is my support system, and that's why she can't be with me. She feels betrayed that I started talking to my family and friends for support during the pandemic and did not tell her. She states she only talked to one person about her feelings about her AP, I talked to 10. That I ruined her reputation, and was basically gossiping behind her back. I know I don't have to justify myself, but shit like that makes me so goddamn angry, resentful and bitter. After 1 year of pure suffering and growth, and me trying my best to not react to her but respond with kindness, while drawing clear boundaries, she asks for forgiveness. She says she's truly sorry it didn't work out, that no matter what happens we have a soul connection. WTF. Where was this 6 months ago when we were doing MC and she was still talking to AP on the side about how much she loved him and missed him? Did she not see that she would lose me, lose us? I'm so sick and tired of this woman's push and pull, the drama, the emotional swings. Sorry for ranting Reddit, but some days even though I'm healing and moving on I get so upset. Edit. Thanks for the overwhelming support. I agree with the overall sentiment of most of the comments, and I am trying to grey rock her and move on for clarification. I still love her, but I know for sure she's not good for me or my family or my future, and I have to move on. As many of you know and have gone through the same thing as me, it's harder to do than say. Thanks again for all the support, Reddit. She used to be a good person. Advice. Do you guys ever feel how your spouse was able to go through infidelity? Does it boggle your mind? Thinking back through the relationship, yes, there were a few red flags, but nothing obvious for me. Yes, she was flirty once in a while with other guys, which honestly never bothered me. I just thought she was having fun, but it was nothing crazy. For most of the relationship I really believed she was an overall good person. Yeah, she was career focused, but she did have empathy. She is a physician and I saw her cry over the loss of one of her patients. She would console me when I lost my first patient. She was there for her parents, her friends and me. Honestly, her kindness and compassion is what made me fall in love with her. I feel like over the past year she is a completely different person. She had little to no empathy for all the damage she has caused and is focused so much on her image. It's honestly as if they are two different people. One, the woman I fell in love with, my wife, and two, this monster who is ruining not only her own life but everything in her way. How can one person change so much because of an affair? Another Valentine's Day post. Rant. Last Valentine's Day was my last with my wayward ex. I planned a nice evening at a romantic restaurant at 7 p.m. I didn't know at the time, but she was in the midst of an intense affair with her co-worker. She came home at 6 p.m. from work, after a long day, disappointed I didn't bring her flowers that day. I got her flowers the prior month for our first date anniversary, and she didn't seem happy or appreciative about that, so I didn't bother for Valentine's Day. I reminded her about the reservation. The place was a bar and grill type restaurant, but she was like, "Ugh, I don't want to go to a bar." After a long day she attempts to take a nap. I wake her up at 7:30 asking if she still wants to go. We might be late for our 7 p.m. reservation but should be able to make it. With a shitty attitude she says let's just get Chinese food. We go to our favorite Chinese restaurant, and eat a really nice meal. Later that week she complained about how I did nothing for Valentine's Day, took her to a Chinese restaurant, and not a romantic place, and nor did I buy her flowers. All the while she is knee-deep in an affair. The level of entitlement and selfishness on her part is outrageous, and it still makes me so sick and upset. I am not your soulmate. Rant. An unsent letter to my wayward ex-wife. Please stop sending me poems about how you and your soulmate could not get the timing right, and maybe in another life we'll make it work. No, I am not your soulmate, it's very clear now, and there will be no more chances, not even in other lives. Many months ago, when I was devastated, I did my best to keep it together and help us heal our marriage after your betrayal. I remember those times. You often referred to the other guy as your true love, a deep connection to someone you were meant to be. Where was your soulmate then? I still remember the times when in front of me, you would weep because you missed him, and were afraid you would never find love like that again. I am utterly disappointed and angry. It is very clear that even if I do have a soulmate somewhere out there, it is certainly not you. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Have an awesome day or night, wherever you are.